Hello class, Dr. Mike here for some Introduction to Operating Systems, which is CIS-1107. This is the topic on week 7, time of this recording, and it's on Internet of Things. Now this is not part of the textbook, so this is sort of an extra topic. I'm just going to do some real quick summary of it. Be sure you review the learning activities, look at the links inside there, and to see about Internet of Things itself in general, and then we'll look at the assignment after I'm done here. So just a quick introduction again. This is from freecodecamp.org. Introduction to Internet of Things. Nice little sort of a quick introduction. And so what is Internet of Things? Well, we've already seen this more and more. It's everywhere now. Smart home stuff. So probably the first thing that comes to mind when you ask anyone Internet of Things, they're going to say, "Oh, it's like your Alexa, your Google Home, things like that." But also wearables are considered Internet of Things. Smartwatches, autonomous vehicles, smart cities, smart retail. So this bridges from not just we think as the Amazon Alexa or the smart fridge. This gets into smart, businesses. So again, retails, enterprise, warehousing. IoT itself has a very huge impact in that realm. So sensors and so on. So it has a lot of aspects about it. Now, really, it is just a computer. It comes down to it. There's some data here about the growth. So sensors, GPS, coordinates, temperature, velocity, it really collects information from stuff, connectivity to the cloud or Wi-Fi. That's a big thing here is through the cloud. That's a big aspect of Internet of Things. It doesn't always need to be cloud-based, but a lot of it is. So data processing too, is usually done in the cloud or it's done in some other offsite. User interfaces could be different for different devices. Some will come over mobile apps, and some, of course, will have their own interface. It could be via a HTML page, a web page, and some devices have very, very little interface at all, or they have more of a management interface. So these main components are pretty important to understand. A lot of them are going to be actually mobile apps that have the way to interface those. So sensors, some sort of sensors, we're collecting data. It could be voice. It could be a voice question from your Alexa. It could be your watch sending it to a device. Use your phone, which goes into the cloud. And again, how it connects. Does the watch connect to the phone via Bluetooth, and then the phone connect to the cloud via either LTE or Wi-Fi. So now again, cloud platforms are huge. There's actually a separate cloud lesson in this course, so I'm not going to get too much into cloud. Just understand it plays a huge role in Internet of Things. Machine learning, publications, analytics, core connections, things like that. So Google, Amazon, and Microsoft Azure are three of the main players here when it comes to cloud. So then just keep that in mind. It is everywhere, and it's used in a lot of places, not just here too. Autonomous vehicles. Not just autonomous vehicles now. There's vehicles that are coming out. Time this recording, which is like September 2020. I was an article a few weeks ago about, I think it was BMW was toying with the idea of a smart connected car that had almost like a DLC. You would pay for extras. So, so the lines get blurred when it comes to Internet of Things. So again, look at the learning activities, just do some research, and you'll need to do that because we have the assignment itself. Assignment for this week is pretty straightforward, at least this topic, which at the time of this recording is week 7. IoT, Internet of Things. There is no NetLab, of course. We just have a project in place. Read through the section, and then consider what role IoT plays in your life, and then do a 500-word essay on how these devices interconnect. So it can be as simple as that. Go through 500 words, and what's that? 500 words, double spaces, barely a page. So just think about how what you have IoT-wise around you as part of your everyday life. So, and maybe just reflect on their configuration, what kind of data they're picking up. Again, this is always a good exercise for any type of computing device you have, mobile device, desktop, any service you use online, Google Docs, for example. Anything that you think is collecting data from you, was it collecting, and is it worth it? There's times yeah, it's fine. Maybe you pay some privacy data for using Google Docs, but you get something from it. So do that with the Newton paper. Now the second idea here for the project is you can either do the Raspberry Pi project. So if you want to, you can implement a Raspberry Pi and do your own little IoT project and do a little 250-word essay on what you did, a couple of screenshots showing your finished work. Raspberry Pi, there you go, show all projects, is really cool. There's a lot of stuff you could do with Raspberry Pis. Raspberry Pi itself is a small little device, if you don't know what it is. A Raspberry Pi is a small computer. I think it's a Raspberry Pi. It's like a $5 computer for some of the small ones, and then maybe $25 for the previous older ones, $35, $45 for newer ones. Again, this is not required. This is an option you can do for the class if you happen to have one. Or a Pi-like device. There are other devices, Arduino, things like that. If you want to create something, feel free to do that and share it as part of your project. Key rings, you can make clocks, poacher generator. Now, not everything here is IoT in general. So IoT, think of something that almost like a device that waters your plants automatically. Home automation, that's definitely an IoT type device. Probably the easiest ones you can do, which I do here, is make a Raspberry Pi. And a Raspberry Pi this is autofill here. It's a device that creates what's called a Pi hole that blocks. You can see this is blocking, this case, 25% blocked of traffic for ads. It's ad blocking for my entire network at home. So this is definitely an IoT device. It's actually a small little Raspberry Pi. It's called a Raspberry Pi 0W. So it's literally the size of a small candy bar. It actually powered over the USB. It uses Wi-Fi, and it's running a Linux OS. And it is protecting my home network from ads. So that's the idea for a project. If you want to set one up, try it out. And you can set it not just the Raspberry Pi too. You actually can create a VM container, I believe. You can there's a lot of different ways. You can look at Pi-hole, which is a great name, or Raspberry Pi, Pi-hole, or just Pi-hole in general. But if you want to, you can do some example projects. Again, if you have done one already, you can share it. Go back, maybe take a couple screenshots. In this case, a picture actually works too. I know most of the time in the course you take screenshots, but an actual image, JPEG image, like through your camera on your phone, will suffice also. So that's it for week 7. IoT, give you a chance to explore that. Definitely look at the objectives and learning activities. Explore the topic. And share your thoughts, either about your IoT devices you currently have or a project you're going to work on. And that concludes IoT. Thanks.